When he visits the East Texas Freedom Colony, Michael Strahan gets to reunite with long-lost cousins. Co-anchor Michael Strahan and his mother Louise traveled to Shankleville, Texas, with ABC News and the 10 Million Names Project on Friday's episode of Good Morning America to finally meet their long-lost relatives. GoodMorningAmerica.com claims that Strahan's heritage may be traced to those who were born as slaves. Following their release at the end of the Civil War, they established an independent Black community. According to 10 Million Names head historian Kendra Field, Ph.D., there is fantastic story within Michael Strahan's family history that was passed down mostly through oral tradition about how it is that James and Winnie Shankle were reunited in Texas. Michael Strahan was able to connect with that community all these years later thanks to the strength of genealogy and family history. Shankleville is one of more than 500 freedom colonies, or Black post-emancipation villages, in the United States, according to Field, who spoke with ABC News. Founded by formerly enslaved men, women, and children, these communities were safe havens for many from the broader experience of the Jim Crow era, she continued. The hunt for Strahan's forebear started a few years ago, and after evaluating the information, the 10 Million Names Project, which aims to reclaim the history of the 10 million Americans who were held as slaves and their descendants, found that Strahan has Shankleville ancestry. Their investigation into Strahan's past was also featured on Finding Your Roots on PBS. Strahan felt compelled by that realization to find out more about his family's history. Strahan and Louise met up with their long-lost cousins Laretha Clay, Stephanie Franklin, Billy White, and Philip White while they were in the East Texas hamlet. They assisted in completing the gaps in their family's history. Jim and Winnie Shankle, according to Clay, were sold to a Texan, and Winnie was enslaved in Mississippi, ABC News stated. Jim wanted to know where she was since he genuinely missed her. He so began to ask around and learned her location. He then fled, as reported by Clay to the source. In order to find Winnie, Jim, an escaped slave, eluded the authorities, slave patrols, and professional slave catchers. He miraculously traversed the 400 miles of the Mississippi River on foot and met Winnie there. There was a spring a few yards away, and she was out, gathering water, washing clothes, so he performed his little call, and she was like, "This sounds like Jim's call." Jim was there, of course, Clay said.